Welcome to the Podcasting Mentor Podcast, a podcast for entrepreneurs who are ready to stop hiding and start showing up on the right stages without the burnout. I'm Candace Dudley, podcast guesting strategist, and your go-to for turning interviews into your favorite marketing and networking tool. And guess what? My podcast guesting accelerator is now enrolling for summer. Yep, this is your sign to finally get off the sidelines and into the spotlight. Like my client, Kelly, who landed 8 guest spots in a single week after we worked together. She called it a no-brainer and said she'd 1000% do it again. That's the power of intentional guesting, and that's exactly what I'll help you do. Let's get brave, let's get strategic, and let's get you heard. Head to the show notes for more details on my podcast guesting accelerator. Welcome back. And it feels like I need to be saying, welcome back, old friend. This has been some time. And it might not feel like that for you, but I batch recorded all of those episodes back in May or before that you've been hearing throughout this entire summer season. And here I am now recording my first one in months. And it feels really weird. And I feel like I need to start by saying what I've been up to. And also that I've just had this pause. You know, it's like fall. It's a good time to reflect. I just sent the kids back to school. I loved our summer. We did just about anything and everything that you can do in the heart of your kids' ages when they're 10, 9, and 7. We saw Mount Rushmore. We did the Badlands. We did Valley Fair. Every sport, summer rec thing you can think of. Spent all day, every day at the pool. You name it, we did it. Bike rides, lake time, all of it. Coming off of that, I needed like a nap. It's been a couple weeks. And now I'm finally feeling like I'm settling back in and I'm reflecting on my own business, this podcast in particular, and feeling like, you know what? If I'm recording, then I better have shit to say. And it better be important and it better be worthwhile. And I've always felt like that, but I just feel really called to make sure of it and make sure that this is not fluff and make sure that it's worth your time because there's so much going on and things are heavy in the world at times and it can be easily bogged down and, you question what is even important, what matters. And honestly, there's days sometimes I'm like, what does this podcast even matter? So I would love to know how you're feeling. I would love to get a DM from you, get an email from you at Candace Dudley on Instagram, Threads, and hear how you're doing. Like, fill me in, old friend. Fill me in. But this episode is going to be all about planting those visibility seeds. I just have this fall vibe going on. Even if it's not fall for you right now and you're catching this at a different time, just go with it. You always obviously came here looking for something. You saw this episode, you hit play. Here we are. Such a good season to be planting these visibility seeds, getting out there, having your business, your brand be seen and heard. Because if we think about heading in soon to Q4, the start of 2026, how impactful that is going to be in the momentum that you're creating by being visible. And I do that through podcast guesting. And that's probably why you came to this podcast, because you're thinking either how can I make the guesting experience that I'm doing better because I've been on shows. Maybe you're not feeling like you're seeing results. You're not really seeing anything happen. You might be doing a few things that we can tweak. Tune into the next solo episode. That one's going to be all about what to say when you get on the show, when you get booked. But this one is going to be about why we need to start planting these seeds and how we can do it. And let's go about this in a way that feels aligned, value-led. I can't stand it when you get a DM from someone and it's just this cold message and they're asking you stuff so that they can say, I wasn't going to lead into immediately selling you even though I just stumbled upon your page today. And that drives me nuts because you can see it a mile away. We're not doing that. We are not doing that. But fall is the perfect time because we have this feeling right now of this seasonal energy where people are really focusing on growth, both personally and professionally. And so when we're making business decisions right now, it's often for our future self. I know that I have been trying to focus on that. Like, what can I do today that future Candace will thank me? And yet last night it was preparing an egg bake, getting it all ready, putting that in the fridge. Today, that Candace version of me today, present me, can pop that in the oven and we're done and good to go because there's nothing more than I hate than having to cook for everyone every day. It's not my thing. Love that for you if it's for you. But anyway, we're doing that with our business as well. We're determining how we're going to end Q4 2025. And those decisions are going to be how early 2026 is going to play out. We're making decisions right now in business that will directly reflect how successful or not we get to be when the new year hits. Planting these seeds now is creating opportunities and sales that are going to bloom later. This isn't about giant leaps. A seed is small. When I look at my garden, that is the other thing I'm procrastinating on because I'm very much over my garden. Loved it. Loved what I got from it. I've canned tomato sauce, salsa, pickles, you name it. We've done it and I'm sick of it, but it's just out there. It needs to be put away for the season. But when I think about how that garden started as beds of dirt, that I put tiny seeds that you could barely see some of them in the palm of your hand into that dirt, and the jungle that it is right now is always mind blowing. I'm on like year 4 of doing this, and every year the tomatoes get taller than me, and I'm 6 feet tall. They droop over, but if you held them up, they're taller than me. And I'm always flabbergasted. It never fails. So I'm not talking about huge things that you have to leap off a cliff in your business, invest millions of dollars, and want to go throw up. I'm just talking about these tiny, consistent actions. These are small things. An example might be what I always say in my first step of my 5-step process is getting those speaking topics nailed down, those niche speaking topics, drafting what those might be. Or, gotta say this, I'm doing a fall flash mini where I will do this for you. I will get your niche speaking topic sent for you. You're going to fill out a little form. There's going to be more about that at the end of the episode or in the show notes, but it's small. It's not a whole program. We don't have time for that right now, but we need real visibility. And so it's going to be a mini. It's going to be something that's very actionable, very quick. You're going to fill out a quick form. I'm going to get these niche topics drafted for you, figured out for you, along with other custom tips and things. And then you'll have access to me for 2 days of voice messaging support as you begin to try to book yourself on podcasts. Other actions might be reach out to 2 podcast hosts. Do you know 2 people already that you can just start small and you already know them so you can message them? Go ahead and download my free tracker. That'll be in the show notes. This is just a simple way to track what shows you're hearing that you feel really aligned with. You can get those in there. It's a way to track if you've reached out to those shows and to keep it all in one place, because there's nothing I love more than a good streamlined system. Maybe it's sharing one story from your business in a fresh new way, and maybe that's just talking on your stories about these different things. Telling stories on your stories kind of makes sense why that's called that. Because that could be a first step dabbling into speaking about your offers, speaking about your story. So if it feels very scary to guest on a podcast, even though it's in the back of your mind, and let me tell you, if it is and it's still there and it just keeps being there, it's not going to go away until you try it. So you might as well jump in and do it. There must be something you're either supposed to learn or experience or a connection you're supposed to make from it. And I fully believe that. But these small steps are going to really add up. This is a long game type of thing. I've said it before that it can be really fast, especially when we're in front of aligned audiences. There might be audiences that are already looking for you. One good example of this is my client, Kelly. She wanted to get on 6 shows for the year. We booked her 8 in that month, and she booked out her entire next 3 months. Actually, I think I saw recently that she's booked out for the year. So it can be really fast in that regard, because if you're doing it the way I preach, my approach is to make sure you're in front of very aligned audiences, make sure those pieces match up. And when you do that, it can become really fast. But what I mean by this is a long strategy is that you can have new listeners for months, years even, after this podcast has been released. The podcast, the title, all of it is searchable. It is increasing your online footprint. There's backlinks. There's all these things that are making you more credible, making your website more credible, your presence online more visible. It's going to increase how likely it is that someone might find you through a search engine, through something organic like that. And it's all about just getting in front of those audiences and in those rooms virtually where they're already looking for you and your services. It's boosting your credibility, and all of these pieces turn into more sales. But we likely need to shift our mindset a little bit before we dive into this. So first and foremost, I need you to trust in your offer and what you know. If you don't trust in the value that you bring to the room, to a podcast that's lucky enough to book you, that's a problem. We're not quite there yet. We have some inner work to do. We have some tweaking maybe of our offer. Maybe something isn't quite right. But I don't mean that you need to never have any doubts or things like that. But I mean that you need to be confident and have a knowing that what you do and the service you provide is super valuable, or the product you have is super valuable that can change someone's life. I know that getting on the right podcast and speaking and sharing your message can change your business. It can change how you show up. It can change the network that you have. It can change the amount of referrals and the bookings that you're getting and the clients and the people coming into your audience. I know that, and that's what I'm talking about, that sort of embodiment that we need to have. Because if we keep thinking, I need to do this one more thing before I can be on a podcast, I need to get this one more certification, this one more degree, that's not the vibe. That we're not ready, right? You're not ready. And that's not to say you're not ready ever. That's just me being honest that it's not going to bring you the success or bring you what you might be hoping for until that piece gets taken care of. I encourage you to look at your offer. Is there something that's not fitting with you? Just ask yourself, is there something that needs to be tweaked? And if that's in alignment, then what about you and your beliefs about yourself and what someone in your position is supposed to or should, I'm doing air quotes, you can't see it, have in order to be able to speak to this? Because I already know that you have value. I already know that from your experience, you can get someone to where you are, and that there are people out there looking for your take, the way you do things and your experiences, because they haven't related yet to someone else. They haven't found that person that is speaking to their soul, that their story is like, yes, she or he is who I've been waiting for. And now I see myself in this and I can see it. I don't need you to be hustling and overhauling every platform and doing this grind to end the 2025 season and quarter four. That's not what I'm about. I want to do things differently. I don't think we need to be in a grind to have successful businesses. It's all about picking that one next step and seed to plant. It's that tiny action repeated over time in the right direction that reveals your path, that reveals the next right steps. Trusting in that and continuing to walk that walk is where you're going to end up blooming and growing. Sorry for the corny theme here, but we're just like all in on this planting seeds and growing flowers in a garden theme here. So deal with it. So if you feel stuck on where to start, or you don't know where to go or what to do to increase this visibility, highly encourage you to head to the show notes, check out more about my Flash Fall Mini Visibility Kickstart, where I'm going to pull out your 3 niche speaking topics, set you up with a simple tracker, some quick 2 days of Voxer coaching, one-on-one, where we can hit voice messages to each other, and then just send you off with very custom tips in pitching and speaking and things like that that relate to specifically you and your business. But I do have a limited amount of ones that I can take on for this, so get in on that early and head to the show notes. It's been great, old friend. I feel like I need to be caught up with you as I just shared where I'm at in life and want to hear from you. So hit me up. Let me know where you're at. If you have questions about that Visibility Kickstart, you know where to find me. See you next week. All right, that's it for today. If this episode gave you a little aha, or you're thinking about guesting on podcasts now, I'd love to hear about it. Screenshot the episode, tag me on Instagram @Candace Dudley, and let me know your biggest takeaways. And don't forget to come back next Tuesday for another episode.